I want to talk about Sam and Colby and the video that they've been doing on different haunted places. Now, if you don't know who Sam and Colby are, I highly suggest you go and you check out their Twitter and also their YouTube. Their YouTube channel is awesome. I love the Trap House guys. It's actually my daughter Nora who got me into watching them. They're urban explorers and they do all these crazy things. Well, unfortunately, Sam and Colby took some members of the Trap House and they brought them to the Queen Mary, the most haunted and infamous ghost infestation ever there, room B340. Um, and well, Sam did a lot of 3 a.m. challenges in the house where the guys lived at. They would do a lot of spirit communication, a lot of rituals. And unfortunately, I think Sam kind of opened a doorway. Once you open that doorway, it's very, very, very hard to shut it again. So, with all his rituals and then deciding, hey, let's go to this room. I mean, yeah, sure, 50 people have died in it, but what the heck? It'll make a great video. So, Corey Shear and Aaron Doe and Jake Weber all went. Elton decided not to go, Uncle Elton. And the 4 of them went to the Queen Mary 2 room B340. Now, they had already gone, Sam and Colby just themselves, and it was, they got a lot of strange anomalies. But this room was going to turn out to be something a whole lot more than they ever bargained for. So much so that Sam even convinced Colby, who swore along with the rest of the guys they would never go back there. He convinced him and 2 of their friends who are also YouTubers, Keenan and JC, to go along and spend the night in the Queen Mary again. And unfortunately, Colby, listening to Sam, because he's his best friend, goes up to the door in room B340 and asks for communication to whatever they were talking to, and he got a response. Now, I'm not saying that I believe everything that goes on is 100%. You've got to make a video pop when you're that big. I mean, I'm sure some of the things that, they see, they think they hear can be explained away, but some of the stuff you really just can't. So I would highly recommend, in the end of this video, I have listed all their Twitter accounts, which also have links to all their YouTube videos. Now, the night of the Queen Mary in the suite B340, well, a lot of stuff happened, and I find it kind of odd that the Queen Mary would, of course, they're capitalizing on that fact of this being the most haunted room and blah, blah, blah. 50 people having died there, which should have said something. So they have a box, and in the box, they have a amethyst crystal. Huge. The guys thought it was black. It wasn't obsidian. It was actually amethyst, which calls to spirits. They had a crystal ball. They had a pack of tarot cards. They basically had everything you would need to contact spirits, along with stories on the wall and pictures. And even in the bathroom, they have how to do the Bloody Mary game. I mean, right down to using the candle and turning on the water and spinning 3 times, saying her name 3 times in the mirror, and they did catch something. Well, the water would play a very big part because every time they're there, water turns itself on. Now, according to legend, nobody really knows, but they say that a girl drowned in the swimming pool, and she's seen walking back and forth. Peter James, famous psychic, went there And he contacted her a lot of times. However, I think it isn't the ghost of a little girl, to be honest with you, because it's kind of creepy, the things that this supposed little girl entity does. Now, when demonic things don't want you to know they're demonic, they will pretend to be something sweet and innocent. And hey, you're ghost hunting. You find the voice of a child. Your first instinct is, oh my God, how do we help this poor child cross over or find peace, something. I have a hard time when I don't believe that a child would be allowed to be stuck in between places. And I think that unfortunately they contacted something that wasn't a child. They contacted something very dark. And later on, I will talk to you about how Corey Shear and Aaron Doe are very spiritual. And they even believe that it is a demonic presence. And I think that Sam Goldbach actually, at the Queen Mary at that time, during that seance, he opened himself up so much and wanting so much to have concrete evidence that he allowed something to attach itself to him. I believe he's become what's known as oppressed. A demonic oppression is when a non-human or demonic entity attaches itself to you. He's not in full possession. They're very different. But even an oppression can sometimes need an exorcism. And it's not like you see in the movies, guys. Sometimes it is. But most of the time, you just need a priest to say a special rite over you, and you will be helped. So, I wanted to show you the Sam and Colby videos that you really should go and check out. Where the first one is the overnight and what happened to them. And then a few months later, they released the missing audio file because Aaron Doe had actually been recording unbeknownst to everybody else in the group. And what they find is rather disturbing. I'm not going to give it all away, obviously, but I do believe what they contacted really did in fact change their lives forever. I feel that the trap house became a sort of, vortex, almost an entry point for spirits to be able to come in and out. And I think that, and I'm not blaming just Sam, everybody in that house did creepy, weird videos. The more you do this, the more you become a beacon for things that are not of this world. And unfortunately, things have attached themselves to all the guys. Now, Corey and Aaron have an amazing podcast going now where they also then, the day after, they will post a video of their podcast on Himalaya app. Go check them out over there. And also the Corey and Aaron show. You go to Corey Shear, go to Aaron Doe. There'll be links. And they even have discussed how they're, after moving out of the trap house, how all of them are experiencing strange things happening. And it's really hard once you get that attachment to free yourself. It's great YouTube material. It's great. It's fun. When you're young, you think it's great. It's, you're contacting the spirit world. How could that not be cool? It's not. 30 plus years later, and I'm still dealing with crap that I'm a beacon now. My daughter's a beacon. And you can get some really dark crap happening to you. So I don't suggest you do rituals for the fun of it or for YouTube videos, especially if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to send back what you've called. Now, as I said earlier, Sam and Colby did take Keenan and AJ back to the Queen Mary to stay, but in a different hotel suite. Now, Sam convinced Colby to go back to room B340, which oddly they found the key card in the lock, and told him that the audience wanted him to see if whatever it was still there. And he did. And as you can see here, by this still, his hand was nowhere near the wood. When you listen with headphones, because you're going to hear a huge knock. That was from this entity. And by looking into Colby's eyes, you could tell he did not want to be there, which later on he states, "I didn't even want to come back to this ship." Now the four guys returned to the Queen Elizabeth suite that they rented, that Sam and Colby rented, and Sam pulls out a Ouija board. Now, say what you want. I think a Ouija board is just a way for your subconscious to kind of move, because everybody has psychic abilities. It's just whether they use them or not. I think that a Ouija board is a way to tap into those abilities. That being said, however, if you don't know what you're doing, again, as with anything, it's going to end badly. Example, Elton, in one of their videos, put blood on the Ouija board, which then binds you to that board, and strange things can occur. I personally use the Ouija board as a vortex to kind of communicate with spirits and just put objects on there. They didn't. Sam and Colby and Keenan and AC sat down, and yes, they tried to conduct a seance. Well, I don't know what kind of night vision this is that turns green. Usually it's black and white, but they did, and they did contact something. And when you watch the video, you can hear, again, put in headphones, knocking coming from all over, above their heads, then to the side, then above, then to the side. And it was really weird considering it's 3 a.m. The camera, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but after something occurs, you're going to see orbs floating throughout this video, as it was very hard to capture one. I had to take several photos, but there it is. It's not a bug, as you can see. It is a light anomaly, and those are orbs, kids. Now, again, I'm so glad they got the evidence. Well, Sam got the proof that he wanted. Now, if you go over to the Himalaya app and you listen to the Corey and Aaron show, they're awesome guys. Again, Corey Shear and Aaron Doe. Again, links to their Twitter page, which will have links to their YouTube channels, which will have links to the Himalaya app. Or you can just go and look up the Corey and Aaron show. I can talk. And they discuss all the hauntings and what happened on the Queen Mary. And Aaron says he thought it was a demonic entity. Yes, I believe it was a demonic entity, because they wanted them to stay there. And they didn't want their communicating with these 4-5 guys to get out. So that right there tells me they were talking to something that was very, very negative. And again, Jake's playing with the crystal ball. They're all really communicating that they want a sign. As soon as the camera is shut off is when they all get the signs that they want, except for Sam perhaps. But in one instance, Corey notices Sam staring off into the distance and is wondering if he's all right. I think this is when something negative attaches itself to Sam, and you can tell that he is glazed over. He's not himself. And then really weird stuff starts happening even more to all 5 of the guys. So I think something attached itself. You guys need to watch this video. Tell me what you think. I think it did. I think that when you continue to search for something and you are so willing to do anything to get that evidence to prove to other people what you in your heart know. Listen, I've seen spirits. I've dealt with demonic activity. I've, again, repeating myself, over 35 years doing this stuff. I've seen a lot of crap, and I know that it's real, and I don't care if I convince somebody or if they call me a fake, or they, whatever. Call me whatever you want. I know what I've seen, what I've experienced, what I've dealt with, and these guys do too. And now they're all trying to deal with it, which I pray to God, or pray to whoever you believe in, that something can be resolved, because it's some scary, scary stuff. And I highly, again, recommend go check out all these guys. I'm about to leave a link to all their Twitter accounts, which again will lead a link to all their YouTube channels, etc., etc. Thanks for listening to After Dark Paranormal and my ranting on just another crazy subject that I happen to be really passionate about. And I hope everybody watching is as passionate. And before you do anything, please contact somebody who knows what they're talking about, or really research it before you think about going and communicating with something that you may end up needing serious help for. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.